Hello and welcome back to the next episode of Don't Do That right here on 16 TV with Mad as Hell Monday.
We mad as hell.
Mad as hell, absolutely. So we have Webweaver Tropical Punch. It states Tropical Punch is typically a sativa dominant hybrid. While it has indica characteristics due to its parent strains, it leans more towards the energizing and uplifting effects associated with sativas.
So that's good for Mad as Hell Monday because we want to keep y'all
On your toes. On your toes. So, who went first last time? Was it me?
These aren't my right cue cards. You go first. I'll be right back.
Your turn. Okay. So, what is keeping me mad as hell, is the continuation of seeing, especially how Black women are treated, especially through the medical system. Okay, so today we are remembering Adrianna Smith as a mother, as a nurse, as a dedicated health person who wanted to help people. Okay, now this is coming from today off of Newsbreak, Today News. It is written by Gina Vivinetto. Now, they had a funeral on the 28th, and Smith, who turned 31 this month, who would have been 31 this month,
wow,
was removed from life support after her son was autopsied and removed from her body. She did not give birth. They did not do a C-section. Adrianna Smith was dead and kept alive, I believe, for scientific purposes. Conspiracy theorists me all you want. But that baby only weighed 1 pound and 13 ounces when he was removed from a dead body. Now, Smith's younger sister, Naya, spoke about the positive influence her late sister had on her. We want to remember her in a positive light, not in what they had kept her alive for. She says, "I'm thankful for everything that she's taught me. Her love, her kindness, her wisdom. Family meant everything to her. So I hope that I can follow in her footsteps." During the service, the nursing guard gave Smith a white rose and recited the last call of duty for her while ringing a triangle. She served selflessly and gave for the good of others. And that was a member of the Atlanta Nursing Guard. Smith was declared brain dead in February. Her mother, April Newkirk, had told WXIA in May. At around 9 weeks pregnant, Smith was hospitalized after her boyfriend found her struggling to breathe, and a CT scan found blood clots in her brain. She was placed on a ventilator and declared brain dead. And because there was a heartbeat, she was kept alive as an incubator. There was so many things that they could have done for that young lady instead of sending her home with medication. Simple CT scan could have been fine. I have friends going through traumatic events in the hospital. And it's not an only time thing. Adrianna Smith was a loving mother. She was a hardworking mother. She succeeded in her life and she wanted to give to others. There were so many other things that you could have did for her instead of keeping her alive, to keep her memory going. Instead, you kept her alive to keep this baby alive, who I can guarantee you is not going to live. And if he does live, the pain, the trauma that child is going to have to go through because you self-centered, unholy, unrealistic pieces of pile of crap wanted to keep her alive.
What are the psychological ramifications of somebody finding out through social media or just someone telling them that You were born
from a dead body.
from a cadaver. You were literally born
From a dead body.
from a dead body. Like kids,
the ramifications. I mean, I can only imagine.
Kids are mean, and
And
for
then,
that to be a fact, it's like you're a zombie.
What about
You were
the
born
other
from a
child,
dead body.
the other child of hers?
Who knows? What these kids
Imagine
gonna
what
come
that
up with.
child is going through as well. Finding out that his mom was actually dead and not sleeping. Then also finding
The
out
resentment.
that they forcefully grew your sibling in a dead body. A sibling that may not ever live. That's already dealing with brain bleeds.
It's just crazy.
Remember Adrianna Smith as a good person and a loving mother. Don't think of her as a cadaver.
Or an incubator.
Or an incubator. Even though that is what they did to her. And made her into be.
And now for something way, way lighter. People have been waiting and waiting and waiting. You've been wondering what's going on since we saw the first Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. And, we saw Colin Farrell take flight in the role of the Penguin. And we watched the Penguin series on HBO. And it was appointment television. It was and still is some of the best Batman material that I have seen. And now we've got some good news, because I know if you watch the channel, if you watch the show, you've probably seen us talking about Batman 2. When is it coming? What's going on? Matt Reeves has had personal issues, and that is why he's taking a little extra long with the script. Well, I'm here to tell you, the Batman 2 script has been turned in and is done. Matt Reeves turned in the script, but I will say this. Now we have a whole new set of questions. Once James Gunn has read the script, which of course this is going to be at least a 1,000-page read, he then has to go over and make his notes of what things he wants taken out, what things he wants added. That is a process in itself. So we are still going to ask, when do we get the film? Yeah, we got the script. But when do we get the film? That's the big question.
That's the big question.
That's the big question. Now, the first movie did do over 700 million. So they are, gonna glance over the script and see the points, and you're gonna try and make sure it is the best representation for Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves as Batman in this new regime under James Gunn and Peter Safran. So I'm sure they're going to make notes, but not as many notes as they probably would if he hadn't took this long to finish the script. And finally, the other question I got is he going to direct it? Because it took him so long and he still has these personal things going on in his life. Is he going to actually direct the film?
Because what he has going on is a lot.
Yeah. We're being respectful. We're not going to really go too deep into it unless you Google it yourself and find out what's going on, form your own opinions. But he is going through some stuff that, of course, people are trying to be very respectful and very thoughtful and courteous to the situation as what's going on. It's nothing life-threatening, but it is something that if you're a human, you're like, oh, yeah. He's going through something right now. Give him a little time, give him his moment. So, but I mean, on that note, and this was something that I didn't know, or because I was a kid. George Lucas did not direct Empire Strikes Back, which a lot of people say is one of the better films in the trilogy. So that means George Lucas, much like Matt Reeves, turned in the script, gave you the parameters, the world, the ideology, everything, and then he turned it over for someone else to direct it, and it is still to this day a classic.
Very true.
So even if he doesn't direct it, that doesn't mean the film is going to be bad. It just means it won't have the same as the Batman.
Fair enough.
Right.
Okay. So I don't even need
She doesn't need the
my
cue cards
phone for this.
or the phone.
Because, as always, my last subject are whether or not it's men of color or women of color that are victims to systematic violence of any sort. Okay, any sort. Now, again, this is Mad as Hell Monday, and again, as a mother, and my God, I am so thankful I don't have girls. I pray for those that do have girls. Okay, now, this all started with that young 12-year-old girl in Texas. Okay,
I know about
who was
this.
raped by a man who, by the way, only had a bond of $50,000 for raping a 12-year-old child. She then proceeded to get pregnant. Kind of almost 12 years old, pregnant, man barely gets any, kind of reminds you of like a Game of Thrones era kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to make sure that at a young age...
Have you bled yet?
Have you bled yet? Oh, then I can procreate you. Yeah. And he did. So then you have this 12-year-old child who then, first part of the thought of experimentation is, okay, this 12-year-old child can have a child. We can go back and start this all over again like it used to be back in the golden days, right? Back when things were great, right?
When America was great.
But then you have Adrianna Smith also, who was a victim of systematic bullshit with the hospitals, who was forced to be dead incubating her child, where all this didn't even have to be like that. When she went to the hospital for these problems, simple CT scan, overnight thought, like, hey, let's watch her because something just isn't right here. Blood draw, something, right? Blood draw. But see, in the words of a friend of ours that is actually going through this, not maybe with a baby, but of health violations and all that.
Doctors not doing their job.
Doctors not doing their job and you doing their job for you. In her mouth, from her mouth to my ear, to my eyes, to this thing. Jennifer says, ask those questions. Make sure they fully educate you. Even though she shouldn't have had to do that, doctors are supposed to be there to save your life, not incubate you. So she then proceeds to not get treatment. Here's some medication. See, medication sends you home. We're not going to watch you or anything like that with this medication we're putting you on. Then you have her boyfriend. And I'm praying for you, bro, because what you are probably going through right now, wrenching. You wake up to your girlfriend, your pregnant girlfriend, gasping for air, can't breathe. Find out when she gets to the blood clots. Simple blood clots took her out. But then you find out she's pregnant. Here's another scientific experiment right here. Let's see, since we've been experimenting on Black women for well over 400 years probably. That's all we know. Let's experiment on them again and see if we can keep this baby alive. It's a failed project, obviously, because that child is never going to be right. Never. Never. There will be mental problems and he may not even be able to survive. But they did it though. They did it. They literally cut a cadaver open And he removed a living, breathing fetus from a dead woman. You women are not worried about this? Here, let's take it back to your 12-year-old daughter that just got done bleeding and finding out she's about to become a woman. This man comes along and rapes her. Gets pregnant, has to keep this baby. You can't abort it. You're thinking to yourself, you got to have this conversation with your daughter. You're going to be like this. So, sweetheart, I just want you to understand what you're about to do is probably going to rip you apart. You're going to have a full-grown baby doll come out of your vagina. You may possibly have to have it stitched back together. Hopefully, you come out normal and still mentally capable of taking care of this child that we forced you to have. Women, sit here and think about this. Get yourself ready to have these conversations. And more than likely, you're going to have to send your children off to these men, because the way this country is about to go, you're going to really think that you're going to have any kind of control over your children, especially your little girls. Do you think you have control over that? Or do you think that man will have control over you and that little girl? Are you ready for that conversation to let your 12-year-old daughter, maybe younger, if she bleeds earlier? Are you ready to have that conversation? To remind them, hey, make sure you keep your legs wide open with them stirrups for you. Thank God I don't have a daughter.
All right. And in lighter news,
Here we are.
my full-blown review for my girl Megan.
Megan 2.0.
Megan 2.0. You might have seen the short. We did the Out of the Theater review, and I enjoyed the film. The film has a 56% thing
for Rotten Tomatoes.
For Rotten Tomatoes, so it is doing well. There are people that did not enjoy the film. Looking at you, John Campia. I respect his opinion though. So I mean, he didn't enjoy it. He's one of the cats that I watch on here, on this platform, that watch, that do movies, and he did not enjoy the film. I understood his viewpoint, but I do not agree with it. I enjoyed Megan 2.0. I thought the comedy was on point. Thought Megan was funny as shit. I thought she was fucking hilarious. The action was on point. They pulled I don't know the name of the actress, but they pulled her from Ahsoka. She was in Ahsoka. She was Balin Skoll's Padawan, or you know how that works. When there's a Sith, there's always two of them. And she was his understudy, and they both got trapped in that little world. If you watch Ahsoka, you know what I'm talking about. But she's from there, and she was Amelia, which is they took the schematics from the original Megan and created a full-blown woman version of it that was like a weapon. She could get in stealth and do stuff that other soldiers couldn't do. Some pretty sweet action sequences if you into that type of thing. Changed the whole genre from it being a horror movie to more of a comedy action adventure. Like I said, it had Mission Impossible type vibes to it. So it was took me for a ride. I stayed awake for the whole film.
Listen,
I stayed awake. I give it a 9 out of 10. It was hilarious to me. Megan was funny. I mean, of course, there's moments in it where I'm like, really, and I'm not gonna give it away, but There's a part where she sings to Gemma, and it's to
That
me.
was
I thought
hilarious.
it was hilarious because it was just so out of pocket, just out of nowhere, out of left field, and then she just really held that moment, and I'm like, really? But I started laughing, so I enjoyed it.
I did enjoy the movie.
I thought it was good.
But listen, I see it like
for
this.
what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can go to studio sessions, and I'm surprised I wasn't put on film yet.
Oh yeah, she falls asleep at
I will go
session.
to sleep.
She would have been nodded out.
I will fall asleep with whenever they take the music off the headphone, the boom boom. I will sleep through that. I will sleep through that. I will. Movies are no different, you guys. Okay, when my body time clock says, bitch, go to sleep, I'm going to sleep, okay? I gotta be moving. If I'm not moving, I just get tired.
My battery keeps me, I do take power downs, though.
Yes, he does.
I do take power
Next time he takes a power down in the car, I will make sure I get it on video.
Yeah, I do quick nod outs. Nod outs, like, you know.
Okay.
All right, so that was Mad as Hell Monday, and we were mad as hell, but we were also telling you some stuff that you needed to know about the movies and stuff like that, just to kind of lighten the load, because, you know, Donnie Taco gives us a lot of stuff, and so instead of always talking about Donnie Two Dolls and always talking about the baby Vance pictures, because you got baby Vice President Vance pictures,
or the war,
or you know, or the war in Iran, or the fact that Hegseth doesn't want to tell the truth, or Marjorie Taylor Greene is thinking about switching sides because she's pissed with Donnie, just because we talk about
Candace
that most
Owens,
of the time.
You guys. Candace Owens
is conflicted.
Candace freaking Owens is freaking conflicted, you guys.
I'm not amazed. The chickens always come home to roost, and as Baron Mordo once said, the bill always comes due.
Now see,
always.
We're not the ones. Reckoning. We led the horses to the water, but Trump is the one who made them drink. All right, guys, thanks again for coming in and seeing us. I appreciate your time, as always. Much, much appreciated. Love that guy. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Get notified each and every time we drop new content. Peace.